What is something you thought was grossly exaggerated until it happened to you? General anesthesia. 3, 2, 1, and suddenly I'm being moved to the recovery room. I always thought it was kinda cool how a 6-hour surgery can feel like 2 seconds when under anesthesia. Yup, preview of death for ya. The pain of a breakup. A panic attack. The movies show it as an almost humorous exaggeration of the severity, or so I thought, and then when it happened to me I realized they are absolutely horrible. I used to have frequent panic attacks, and no one understands the feeling of impending doom until you experience it yourself. Insomnia. Not being able to sleep is fucking maddening. When I was younger, I thought there was no way this could actually be a serious problem. I was wrong. Welcome to my world. What is even worse is if your so sleeps totally fine. Ugh. Watching someone else sleep like a little lamb while you are exhausted and still awake is infuriating. That was me every time I had a sleepover. It's like, how the fuck did you fall asleep in 5 minutes? Then I am awake for another hour or 2 just thinking about how much I want to strangle everyone who can fall asleep in under 2 hours. The happiness of a healthy, stable, loving long-term relationship. I've been told by cynical people, oh, you're still in the honeymoon phase. You'll start having fights soon, like we're just too dumb to get into fights yet. We've been married exactly 6.5 years today, and we've been living together for more than 9 years. I think if we were going to start fighting, we'd have done it by now. Literally not a single fight in that entire time. Fucking depression, yo. Just a few years ago, I would never have considered depression a serious illness on par with anything physical. When I heard depression, I would think, why can't people who suffer from it just go out and be merry and make themselves happy? Well, my friends, since then I have started grad school, moved to a new city, and I have sunk into a deep depression. The worst thing I have ever experienced in my life. Takes all of my willpower to get out of bed every day. I have no desire to do anything, and most days I just wish I would cease to exist. Depression, and any type of mental illness, is no fucking joke. How painful a badly cramping muscle is. The pain of getting cheated on. Consequently, realizing you can't trust a person who you've given your heart to. I thought it was so dramatic and a call for attention when I heard other people complain about relationship problems. Little did I realize it was literally like a knife stabbing you in the chest. The shitty things men do to women. I used to think that creepy messages, overt sexism, and sexual harassment were the exception to the rule. Then I had a friend show me what her online accounts, dating, social media, gaming, looked like. It's nonstop. For every one normal, benign message there were 4 pictures of random dicks, 5 messages calling her a cunt, and a couple semi-degrading or condescending messages. Blew my mind. I thought that girls always exaggerated it until I saw for myself. I don't know how they do it. I'd be tempted to just never go online or never reveal myself as female. Putting down a pet. I held my best friend of 13 years' head in my hands as he slowly slipped away from me. It's been weeks, and I still can't get past it. I have lost people I am close to, and it didn't touch how hard this was. He wasn't just a dog. He was a family member. My cuddle buddy who slept in my bed with me every night from the time he was a puppy. I don't want another dog ever again. I just want my boy back. I would give up anything I have or ever will have to have him back. I miss you, and I love you, Link. How loud guns are. I knew intellectually that they were noisy, but unconsciously assumed they were at movie or video game volume. Went to a firing range and shot a variety of them. Even with ear protection they still feel overpoweringly loud, and it's as clear as day you'd damage your hearing if you fired them without taking any safety precautions. Can't look at most movie gun fights the same again. Bad period cramps. For those who do not know, cramps can vary in pain level with age. When I was younger, I thought I just had awesome pain tolerance, or that cramps weren't really that bad, as I have had a lot of painful experiences: broken bones, chronic migraines, tears, sprains, strains, slips, the lot, and been okay. Then it all went to hell. For 1 day a month, I am in literally too much pain to stand up straight. I have to stamp my feet on the floor to keep from crying out if I'm for some reason able to get myself vertical and my feet to the floor. If I'm lucky enough to have the day off, I curl up around the toilet and just cry because I'm in so much pain I want to throw up, but since throwing up won't make me feel better, I just lay there hugging Ralph the big white phone for moral support. It's so painful I can't think. It's easily at the same pain level as a bad migraine or throwing my back out, both of which I've experienced. Falling in love. Lemony Snicket sums it up perfectly. One of the remarkable things about love is that, despite very irritating people writing poems and songs about how pleasant it really is quite pleasant. Sleep paralysis. Edit. My sleep paralysis experience. It's like my eyes were awake, but my brain was still asleep. I couldn't move my body, I couldn't breathe. The harder I tried to regain my breath, the harder it was to breathe. I know it was pitch black in my room, but it was like everything was strobing colors, like dark, very deep colors, and there was a deep ringing in my ears. It only happened to me once, and it was terrifying. How hard it really is to just find a job, let alone one that pays for you to have a comfortable life. Wait, it gets worse. You'll soon find out that a lot of people that have those jobs are lazy, incompetent fucks who for some reason or another are immune from being fired. Kidney stones. They are for real. Edit number 1. Been asked for my story. I was out of country and on an excursion, if you will. Actually, when I felt something weird about 3 inches up and to the right of my belly button, I didn't have back pains until later. When I got back into town, the pain had gotten a little worse and I thought nothing of it. The next day I woke up and it was more sharp pains, so I went to the local hospital. They did a sono to check me out. Spleen, appendix, and whatever else they checked for came back fine. They gave me some Vicodin and sent me on my way. I took these daily and was okay, but every once in a while took a jolt and nearly brought me to my knees, but then went away. Fast forward to coming home, was on the plane back and started having sharp pains again. Went to the restroom and pissed what looked like cranberry juice. Had a small panic attack and went back to my seat and took the Vicodin. Still had 6 hours of flight time left. Was freaking out the whole way home. Back in the States, I went straight to the hospital and they couldn't figure it out. Told them about the sono and no kidney infection. I could see the concerned look on my doctor's face, so they did a CT scan. A couple of hours later my doctor calls. I have good news, it's only kidney stones. My initial reaction was, fuck, if that's good news, what did you think was wrong with me? Anyway, the report came back TMC, too many to count. I had hundreds all over my kidney but had a 9mm stuck in my uter. That night it moved and I was laying in the bathroom floor, throwing up, and couldn't move because of the pain. I thought I was dying, worst pain I could physically ever be in. My father had to come pick me up off the floor and take me to the hospital in the back of his Tahoe. They performed a lithotripsy, which isn't a walk in the park either, and went home that afternoon after passing 3 stones, and who knows how many blood clots from the procedure. Since then I've passed 2 more that were small but still painful. Black ice. I had a suspicion it was mostly something people blamed for careless driving. Then I finally ran into some. Didn't crash or anything, but honestly though my brakes had failed until I parked, stepped out of the car, and nearly fell from the slipperiness. Cyberbullying. In middle school it wasn't even that big of a deal because hardly anyone kept up with online happenings during those mid-90s dial-up days. I was aware that people would send awful emails to other classmates and harass them, but I didn't think it would hurt that much. Just shrug, pity the pathetic soul that wasted time out of their day to give you a nudge, and delete the message without looking back. Well, I didn't get an email. I got an entire website. Using the student directory, they posted my home address, phone number, and email address. They posted several crap-quality images they took of me using those shoddy 320 by 240 digital cameras. I had this gallery dedicated to me, showing me at very unattractive angles, eating my lunch, walking down the hallway, and making a scrunchy laugh face. And there was text. So much text. Just this unbelievably long diatribe about how fat I was, how no girl would ever love me, how everybody makes fun of me, and how much a worthless piece of carbon-based crap I was. My friends discovered the website when an anonymous email circulated through the student body. They tried to address it to people who weren't in my circle, but some of them did approach me to tell me that this website existed. That's what gets me. It's a website. He actually purchased, and set up his own web domain to host this stuff. And it hurt reading all this stuff. It hurt seeing this getting sent to so many people. And while I was grateful to have some friends tell me about it, not everyone did, and nobody tried to assure me the things the website said were completely false. How was I supposed to know people didn't make fun of me or not? Was I really that hated, that toxic, that people would dedicate an entire week stalking me, taking photos, writing articles, and hosting a website exclusively about me? That's what hurts the most about cyberbullying, and something that I haven't been able to shake since. Cyberbullying doesn't make the victim feel like a victim. It makes the victim feel like they're a horrible person to everyone else, and that the problem is them. When I hear about people going through all the difficulty of making fake Facebook profiles to bait and snare unsuspecting victims, I'm doubly terrified for the state of today's bullying victims. It's so easy to do now. It happened many years ago to me, and technology has since only made it easier to make it happen again. I thought people who called in sick or whatever when threw out their backs were sissies. Then I threw out my back. Holy hell, it hurt to do pretty much anything. Sunburns. I'm a brown guy and honestly, I thought my white friends were being dramatic about their sunburns. Then I decided to go fishing for 6 hours without any sunscreen. Sunburns suck. Dude, one time I got so sunburned I couldn't wear clothes for 3 days. I had to ask friends to bring food to my place because I couldn't go outside without clothes. When I woke up, the creases of the sheets would be imprinted into my dry skin for hours. The very touch of air hurt my skin. It was one of the most painful experiences in my life. I developed a whole galaxy of freckles on my shoulders overnight. I came this close to skin cancer, I swear. Well, don't worry. You still might get skin cancer from it. What is something you thought was grossly exaggerated until it happened to you? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.